Welcome to my channel, and I'm here to inspire you, give you crochet advice, and help you along with your next project. If you enjoyed this pattern, please give me a thumbs up or even comment so I can gauge your interest. It helps me to know what to film next. Hey, and welcome back to the Crochet Crowd, as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Got a great question that came in. The person says, this pattern's not easy at all. I just started to crochet. This is clearly mislabeled. And I'm like, okay then. So let's go through the levels of crochet, because I think people are misunderstanding what beginner, easy, intermediate, and advanced truly mean. So there is a standard, and let's talk about that next. So in my world of crochet, there is such thing as industry standards. Those are the diagrams, how to write patterns, what the ranking of a pattern should be, which is what we're focusing on today. So there's a list of 4 criteria that gives a pattern a ranking. So it's beginner, easy, intermediate, and advanced. So there is a difference between the beginner and easy. So some people just want to start crocheting and they say, oh, look, that pattern states easy. Doesn't mean that a beginner can do it, because it's actually step number 2. So let's go through what the Craft Yarn Council has for those definitions, and let's see where you fall. And maybe you can leave me a link in the, or a comment in this video and tell me, where do you feel you stand? Are you easy? Maybe you should say that. Let's go through those next. Beginner level, as per the Craft Yarn Council, is projects using basic stitches and may include some increases or decreases. So very basic, back and forth in the rows. It could be a granny square that goes around, but very basic stitches, nothing too fancy, not a lot of texture and anything like that. So easy level, which is the second level up, is projects may include simple stitch patterns, color work, or shaping. So those are shaping, increasing and matching size. Color work could be like the different of changing colors back and forth, and also stitching repeat patterns. So maybe there's one row with one type of stitch, the next row has another, and so that would be considered easy. For myself, I prefer the easy level crochet patterns, because I just want to kind of get into a project and just go with the zen of it and the flow, and just being able to easily remember it. So I like to stick within the easy level myself. But some days I'm feeling very intermediate. So in intermediate, it says projects may include involved, that's a big word, involved stitching patterns, color work, and or shaping. So instead of simple stitching patterns, it's involved. So a little more complicated, one to more like looking at the texture, overlays, Mandela work can be in this particular one. I love involved patterns myself. It keeps me mentally interested, and those are the patterns that I really like when I feel like I want to go for a stitching journey and have a lot of satisfaction. I look towards the intermediate level to challenge myself, and I also look to those patterns to be able to teach on YouTube, because chances are somebody that is more of the easy level, they can actually get to this level. They just need a little bit of a push to get over there. So that's intermediate. Now, the advanced level is not something that I do very often, because sometimes I just want to enjoy the journey. I don't want to be sitting there like counting stitches and doing all this and trying to match the shape, and clothing is a lot into the advanced stages. So projects may include complex stitch patterns, color work, shaping, use a variety of techniques and stitches simultaneously. Oh, another big word there. So these are the ones that are like clothing, a lot more involved than the actual intermediate level. So you have to determine what you really are looking for when it comes to a pattern. So in the beginning, I told you that some people like to complain that the pattern is not listed properly because they're not able to do it. That doesn't mean that it's listed incorrectly. It just means that you probably need more practice. So I think you need to let yourself off the hook. Sometimes the pattern can be a lot more difficult. There are some patterns where I swear to God that they have like an easy level ranking on it, and I think it actually should be intermediate or even advanced. But that's up to my personal skill set on what I'm most comfortable with. For myself, crochet is really about the stitching journey in the end. I always want to learn something new. And so that's what keeps me driving through all these years of crochet crocheting here online with you, and also crocheting since I've been a teenager, what compels me the most is always continuing to learn. So up until the crochet crowd developed back in my 30s, is that I wanted to just do the same stuff over and over, granny square, granny square, granny square, because that's what I was comfortable with doing. But I realized that I had more joy when I pushed myself to learn a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. Now, some people say, well, you know, it's too hard to read the patterns. When I first started my contract with Red Heart many years ago, they gave me a pattern and there was no crochet diagrams because that's how I learned. And I'm like, where's the diagram? And apparently it took me about a good solid year to get the understanding of how to read patterns. And I still screw up today. Like after all these years, I think I know what's going on and I have no idea what's going on. So don't comment to that because you're probably like, this guy's a space cadet. But I think you need to let yourself off the hook. Sometimes things just take time to learn, and just remember that the speed I go with you on camera may not be the best speed for you. I may talk way too quickly, which I do get several complaints on that, but I'm talking to you as if you're my friend, and I'd rather talk to you because I feel like if I slow down my words, I'm being kind of condescending. It's how I feel. So sometimes what you need to learn. Sometimes I'm not the best host for you. Sometimes I am the great host for you. But you have to find that host that is going to work for you. And you have to find the patterns that are going to give you the most joy. And I think that's the bottom line of all this. So whether you find yourself at beginner, easy, intermediate, or advanced, who cares? Just enjoy the stitching journey. That's what it's all about. And until next time, have a good one. And I'll let you look at my yarn balls while I walk away.